What's up? It's me, Josh, from the Average Josh podcast. I just gotta talk about this fight. Now, I usually don't talk about MMA fights. I usually only ever talk about boxing matches. But today I saw something that was absolutely fantastic. A fight that had me on the edge of my seat from the beginning to the end. Now, the fight I'm referring to is obviously this Israel Adesanya versus the Alex Pereira fight, or however you pronounce his name. I'm sorry, I'm American. I can't pronounce all these names. But man, this fight started out amazingly. Israel Adesanya came out there, Alex Pereira came out there, and they were just gung-ho from the very beginning of the fight. It started out as very technical kickboxing, striking type of match, where you would see Alex Pereira making a lot of leg kicks to Israel Adesanya. He has like a tall stance, and he's a really big guy. Him really kind of like imposing himself on Adesanya, and Adesanya really fighting off the back foot till you see at the end of the first round. Then Adesanya catches him with a quick combination at the end and really hurts Alex Pereira. And then it seems like Adesanya has the upper hand. But then near the middle rounds, you start to see Alex Pereira kind of turning up the gas, and you notice something right off the bat. Now, Israel Adesanya, he's had some history with Alex Pereira where he was essentially knocked out by him when he was a former kickboxer. And Alex Pereira is a very, 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 very competent, very strong, very hard-hitting kickboxer. So when him and Israel Adesanya was fighting, usually Israel Adesanya has a pretty good advantage when it comes to the striking. Now, Adesanya's technique is very good. I would give it maybe a slight edge over Alex Pereira, but Alex Pereira obviously has like a massive, I wouldn't say massive, but it's a pretty significant power advantage over Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya saw this, so in the middle rounds, what he started to do is he started to grapple more. He ended up getting one of his first takedowns that he's ever gotten in his professional UFC career. Like I said, I'm not a big UFC guy, so I don't know if that's his first takedowns, but that's what the announcer said. He gets Alex Pereira to the ground, and you see that Alex Pereira literally has no ground game. He doesn't really have a good concept of ground and pound. He doesn't have a really good concept of takedown defense. He doesn't really have a good concept of controlling on the ground. But Israel Adesanya, although he's not a master at these things, I wouldn't even say that he's necessarily good at the ground stuff. But he does have more experience than Alex Pereira, and he was able to dominate him in the clinch, dominate him on the ground, and initiated some ground and pound that was able to essentially drain Alex Pereira's stamina. So you're seeing him draining Alex Pereira's stamina, getting in some significant strikes every now and then. Alex Pereira is like elbowing him to the midsection, kneeing him to the midsection, hitting him to the midsection. But you see, this is taking a toll on Alex Pereira because he seems to be the one who lacks the experience needed to successfully control these positions and to conserve his stamina. So it seems like things are going in the favor of Israel Adesanya because Alex Pereira is getting gassed out. He's getting tired. You see that there are certain times where he's on the ground where he decides to just kind of linger and to try to just survive the round so that he can get through to the next round and he can continue to fight. So then the final round comes around, and Alex Pereira's corner were very honest with him. They said, "You're losing this fight. You need to knock out to win." And Alex Pereira goes out there, and Israel Adesanya for some reason goes out there, and then they both kind of initiate what they were doing in the beginning of the fight. A stand-up game where they're throwing some leg kicks, and Alex Pereira is trying to get his second win to essentially sell out and do whatever he can to win the fight. And then all of a sudden he gets, I believe, from memory, because I just watched this fight like literally 5 seconds ago, he gets a good uppercut. Boom! Hits Israel Adesanya. Adesanya backs up towards the cage. He starts throwing combination, catches him with the left hook, and then he just continues to just catch Adesanya. The judge is being pretty liberal. He's allowing Adesanya time to kind of recover, but you're seeing that Adesanya is clearly dazed. And then the referee had to stop the fight. And it was a great fight. It was absolutely a great fight. like, you see this man in Israel Adesanya who's very technically sound when it comes to striking. He does have a little bit more ground game than Alex Pereira, and he has a hell of a lot more experience. But you're seeing this man who, he's just a juggernaut. No matter how hard Israel Adesanya hits him, even when he's hurt, even when Adesanya is hitting him with leg kicks, even when Adesanya is draining him with all types of different types of ground maneuvers. Like I said, I'm a boxing guy, I'm not a UFC guy. It just seemed that like I had never seen Alex Pereira fight, because like I said, I'm not a UFC guy, and I was so fucking nervous because I'm like, I can just tell that this dude's like a juggernaut. Like, he's taking these punches, he's continuing to come, he obviously has massive power, he's obviously dangerous, and it proved to be the case. Now, I am very invested in this, because like I said, I'm a boxing guy. I don't oftentimes get to see like the best fight the best. UFC, they typically do that, but like I said, I'm a fan of only a few fighters, like Israel Adesanya, Dustin Poirier, just people like that. But my God, this was fantastic. So I'm very invested to see what's going to happen. Is Israel Adesanya going to get the immediate rematch, come in there, study himself, and really try to beat the guy who wasn't able to beat in kickboxing or MMA? Or is it far too late? Is Alex Pereira only going to improve by improving his takedown defense? And also, let me talk about the takedown defense. So Israel Adesanya isn't the best person at taking anyone down, but it seems like Alex Pereira really had no experience with takedown defense, but he was able to fend off Adesanya's rudimentary takedowns just by simply being extremely physically strong. I mean, extremely physically strong. Adesanya will be holding on to him, pushing up against the cage, trying to take him down. Pereira not even really knowing what he's doing, is just holding Adesanya off, just holding him off, just showing you how physically strong this guy is. And this man Alex Pereira could really be something special in the UFC. He's undisputed middleweight champion, currently right now beating one of the best middleweight champions to ever live or to ever fight in the UFC. So it's going to be interesting to see how Israel Adesanya comes back against a man who's already knocked him out twice, who's already stopped him twice, who is so much physically stronger than him that even when he does have the advantage in experience with grappling, it is still a significant challenge to move this man into any position, because he's so freaking strong, and he has the advantage in power, and he's just as good, if not almost just as good, as Adesanya in the striking department. And then when you combine the advantage in power, he may be better. And he's proven that he was better. And like I said, Adesanya is one of my favorite fighters. But just like in boxing, I always say that I do not mind seeing my favorite fighters lose, as long as they're fighting their best. Because that feeling that you get when you're watching one of your favorite fighters in an incredibly dangerous situation, and you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, is worth every penny. It's much better than seeing some guy fight another guy who you know has no chance of beating him. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I mean, I love the fight. I probably won't do more UFC stuff, so if you're watching this, you don't really have to subscribe to my channel or anything. I just wanted to express my excitement and enjoyment of this fight, and I want to thank Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya. I know I'm mispronouncing these men's names, but I want to thank them for putting on a great show. And I also want to thank Dustin Poirier and the people on the undercard as well, and the UFC in general. You put on a great show. Thank you for making the best fight the best, and thank you for making an enjoyable experience for me and people all across the world. That's all I have to say about that, and I'm out.